Hello everyone, welcome back to Blaster Master 03. We're on the path to the final part of the game, well, the ending game, not the true ending game.
Oh boy.
The normal ending, as they call it.
It's not really the normal ending though, because it just
No,
continues
the
on.
achievements call it that, weirdly enough.
Well, I know that, it's just a matter of, why call it the normal ending?
It's really not
Is there a bad ending?
No.
No.
It's the closest thing to the bad ending is the normal ending. It's
That
really
is
weird.
very peculiar, yeah.
More importantly, as soon as we killed this,
Oh no,
one random-ass
this
guy.
stupid power-up.
You think all your armaments for the tank are like weapons and stuff? No, this one lets us make cubes.
I gotta
Wait,
say,
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make cubes.
I gotta say, I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not playing this now, because if I were, I would be playing in a thunderstorm, and this is exactly the kind of environment I don't want to be playing in a thunderstorm.
We make cubes.
You know what?
Cubes-
That
cubes
actually
for
reminds.
walls.
It reminds me of. Have you guys played Donkey Kong 94? Non
Hell
64.
yeah, I love that game.
94. It reminds me of the power-ups you get sometimes, where you get them and then they make like the lines across the ground and stuff like that.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
It's exactly that. It is exactly that, but you can only make up to like 5 cubes, and you can only place it next to where your tank is.
Yeah.
Ah.
Man, Donkey Kong 94 is a great game. I
It
love
is a
that game.
phenomenal game.
We should do it on the channel someday.
Surprised
Oh, we
you
have to.
haven't.
You have to do the stomps again.
Man, you say Donkey Kong 94, and all I'm thinking about is like the is it one of those Switch games, or is it like an older game?
It was on Game
It's
Boy.
a Game Boy. We call
Okay,
it Donkey
so-
Kong 94 because it's just called Donkey Kong. But to avoid
Right.
confusion, we just call it Donkey Kong 94.
Except now Nintendo has figured out a way to make even that confusing, because they've started naming their Switch multiplayer games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're
99.
94 people playing. So the
I mean,
okay. So what?
I'm just missing all the games between Donkey Kong 94 and Donkey Kong 5: Journey of Time and Space.
Well, that's the thing. They're all trapped in the journey of time and space.
So what makes the Game Boy Donkey Kong game interesting is you start off and you kind of just think that it's a port of the original arcade Donkey Kong. You know, it's the same stages and whatnot. But the thing is, once you beat it and you expect to do another loop, like Donkey Kong just takes Pauline and gets the hell out of there. And then you go to level 1, which is a city. And then you start learning all of these different like moves that Mario can do, like backflips and triple jumps and handstands and all this other nonsense. And it's basically just the Donkey Kong arcade game, but if it were a fully fledged platformer, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Mario vs. Donkey Kong? That was the sequel to it. But that was
Yeah.
before they started adding in the mini Marios and all that nonsense.
Okay, I'm gonna give them this. This area is legitimately really neat and creepy. Like,
Well, they do this in the previous 2 games too, where you have this
Yeah.
really mutinified area.
This is
Yeah,
basically
but-
just a reskin of Area 8.
but like, the graphics here are really good, and also like the invisible platform that opens its eyes. See? That's
I know that the ground with the eyes is a reference to 2, where that
Yep.
was the
Yes.
final boss.
Yep.
Was the ground with eyes. Which was still freaking creepy, like when you go to the final planet in the eye. Oh, wait, what? Wait,
Yeah,
what?
that's letting you know that's the invisible ground there is the platform you have to stomp on. But I have to go to the alternate dimension to make it solid.
Yeah.
All right. Does the game give you a hint if you've never played 0-2 before?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Because I would figure that...
It's one of those things where you had to have played 0-2 to know to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
It-
even
it's
think
for-
Leibniz tells you, which is the weird thing.
It's one of
So-
those
Not
things
that he
where
would
it puts
know, you know.
it puts you. It's one of those things where the first time you encounter one, it puts you in a situation where you just drop far enough to hit it, but it doesn't really explain. It's kind of a weird mechanic the game never really uses before or again.
I think it is just...
Each of the games have had that weird issue, because like one had the issue where you needed to use the radio to make the door appear.
Oh yeah, which was really dumb.
I still can't get over why does that monster have eyes inside of its mouth? It's like the
You're
dumbest
still
place
going
for
on about
eyes.
that? Just consider it alien. That's all you need to do. Suspension of disbelief.
Alien
It's so
is
that it
not-
can see its food, you know.
Welcome to dealing with Lewis in a nutshell.
Alien is not a catch-all term for things that
I don't know what
make sense.
the food situation is on their planet, man. Like maybe it makes sense.
There's
to them.
no place for the food to go inside of that mouth.
There's all the other holes around the eyeball. Those are literally like tiny mouths.
Those are other eyes.
Are they?
I think
Yes,
so.
they are. They look like eyes.
We'll have to take
There's
a
one
look next
big
time
eye.
one shows up.
Well, don't
Surrounded
worry, he'll
by,
show up in like
like-
another 10 seconds, I think. No, never mind. You gotta
No.
There's
open
like
the door.
there's a big eye in the middle, and then there's a bunch of smaller eyes all around it, and there's no place for food to go. I'm going to guess that monster dies mostly by starving to death.
No, you see, it eats its own eyeballs. That's how it survives.
Ugh.
It could be just like grinding it up into juice that just gets like drawn in through the eyes
Absorbed.
themselves.
I suppose that's possible.
I mean, honestly, there are weirder life forms on planet Earth, all things considered.
No, there aren't.
So, have you ever
So-
seen a blobfish, man? How does that thing live?
Well, it's keep in mind like the way it looks is when it gets pressurized and brought through.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact,
Have
that
you-
room just then that he was in, that's actually the last room in Blaster Master 1, or Meta Fight.
Huh.
That exact shape with all those blocks blocking everywhere and everything. It's straight up a reference to Meta Fight and the original Blaster Master.
Interesting. If I'd ever seen the original Blaster Master, I might care about that.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just pointing it out because the whole point is the room that he goes into, that he has to switch into the dimension, is actually where you would have fought the final boss, which is why there's that enemy is just running around now.
It just it kind of caught me off guard when Blaster Master Zero came around, and I suddenly heard people talking about Blaster Master as if it was a series that everyone knows about.
I mean,
If you grew up with the
niche.
NES, you heard about it. That was about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like on the Contra and Mega Man levels of it's just a game a lot of people had back then.
Yeah.
But like, the thing about that is, like, I never owned that system, but I still knew about Mega Man and Contra, and
Well, that's just because they had.
Yeah, I
more
still
staying
Yeah.
power.
They
I
went to
still
other systems.
heard about both of those series, both growing up and in the YouTube game reviewer era, where everyone was talking about the games they grew up with constantly. I never heard about Blaster Master once in all that
Yeah,
time.
well, that's because
There
Mega
was
Man
only-
had
there was
6
only-
games on the NES.
Yeah,
Contra
well, Lewis, let me
two.
just.
Contra had 3, and then they also had ones on multiple systems. Blaster Master had like 5 until 0 came up total.
Let me just
And
put it this
then-
way, Lewis. I had never heard about Legacy of Kain until you brought it up in commentary.
Well, yeah,
that
but
doesn't
that's-
mean that nobody it's not liked. It just means that it was out of my sphere. I never heard of it. It wasn't. my
Yeah,
time.
but Legacy of Kain was also kind of obscure, except for Soul Reaver, which was like it's 5 minutes in the sun.
it's the same sort of thing with Blaster Master. It was pretty obscure except for the original, which was 5 minutes in the sun. It's just like 10 years earlier, you know.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Okay, that
But, like,
attack's cool.
I'm
Oh,
a
did you do it
fire
during
in
its
my
invincible section?
No, I
It
was
doesn't-
trying to show that you literally can't do anything to it. Don't try to get cheeky about, trying to avoid the laser or anything.
Oh wait, so you have to use the life laser in order to kill it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it drains your health back down to 1, but it keeps all your your guards up, and it
Which
drops
is
enough
weird.
health to get it back up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that enemy mostly just exists to remind you that the heart laser is a thing, and that
Yeah,
you should be
it's
using.
a teaching enemy essentially.
Alright.
Okay, but it is good that you keep your guard so that you're not
Losing it all.
so that it's not as all in as you might think it is.
Oh, remember this boss?
Boss rush. The terrible reverser. Wasn't
I
so
honestly
terrible,
do
we
not
kinda killed
remember
him.
this boss at all. I know that
He was
was
one of
Lord
the, he was one of the
Mexico,
first. He was one of the
but-
first in the game.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, now I remember it because he has his muck on the ground. Okay.
And then look on the ground, and then when you beat him up, you have to switch to tank form.
You know, it kind of bugs me that the boss health bars, like, there's no stacking effect.
What do you mean? There was.
Yeah, there is.
Was there?
Yeah, it's just he's already gotten rid of the 1 bar. There's 2 bars in this form, and a 3rd one shows up when you jump into the dimension. But you can literally see 2 health bars there.
What's your preference? Multiple health bars or just 1 health bar that goes down really slowly?
Well,
I would say a larger multiple health bars, because then it gives me more context to how much damage my attacks are doing. Versus if you're doing, if an attack you do does 1% of a really large health bar, or 3%, it's harder to tell the difference versus 10% and 30% of 1 of 3. You know, it just gives you more information. And it also makes you feel like you're accomplishing more, because, all right, I've gone through 1, I've gone through 2, versus, like, the entire thing in the middle of a really, like, 1 big health bar just feels like a slog. It's a minor thing.
Yeah, it's a good marker if they're going to do multiple stages, too, multiple forms.
Yeah, normally you're kind of trained to expect that something will happen after you beat 1, you know?
Yeah, I mentioned this in the Final Fantasy VII Remake playthrough, how when the bosses go into their stupid phase shifts where they no-sell your damage for no reason, that it would have been better if the game communicated to you that you were approaching that moment by showing multiple health bars. Rather than, you know, you bust out your limit break in the middle of the health bar, but like, oh no, you did 2,000 damage, but you were 100 away from the phase shift, so I guess that whole limit break has been wasted. Yeah,
let's make more cues.
Fun. That wasn't fun.
I mean, yeah, 7 Remake kind of bummed me out.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No. It felt like too much padding.
Interesting.
Because basically what? They turned a 5-hour portion of 7 into 40+ hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, everything just felt dragged out to me. I appreciated how well it looked. I liked the gameplay. That was pretty much it. The music was phenomenal. I actually liked the representation of the characters and stuff like that, but I already knew the story, and I was just like, oh, you're just dragging this out. I don't need all this stretched out. Please, let's just get to the interesting stuff.
That's
so I feel like coming to it from someone who knew the series and knew the game already, I was just like, this feels like a waste of time to me, versus like if it was my first time experiencing Final Fantasy VII, I have a fucking blast with it.
That's interesting, because like after Final Fantasy VII Remake, what my feeling is like that the original story didn't have much to it in comparison. Just those two, just comparing those 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like the original Midgar section feels bare to me now. Like it's missing stuff.
Oh, you know, I agree. Like they put a lot into the Midgar section in Remake, but I didn't think it needed that much.
That's the thing, though. What it wound up feeling like to me was that it did need that much. But maybe that's just because I'm a bigger fan of long-form stories.
That might be the case because I have gotten to a point where I don't play a lot of long RPGs anymore. So I'd rather get to the point sooner. Because I know like all the interesting things that happen in 7, and it's just like, cool, I'm still in this town that normally Jack All happens in, basically.
Huh.
Well, I say Jack All, there is shit that happens, obviously, but...
It is interesting in that the beginning is also of that game is also very, very fast-paced, and needing to make it a 40-hour game requires slowing it down, which one could argue goes against the strength of that part of the story.
Exactly.
But like, I don't know. I feel like
I like seeing like Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge get fleshed out. I thought that was cool. I didn't need to spend an entire chapter running through a sewer.
The sewer was kind of weak, but
yeah, like
I guess I just like my RPGs to be slower and build more.
I guess, but like the thing is for me is and this is an edge case. This is entirely an edge case because this is an RPG we like the majority of the players already know.
That is true. In that every well now we're gonna get into the story changes stuff, but that's a
whole different beast there.
Yeah, that's a different can of worms.
We did a 70-part commentary on it, actually. So
I don't know. Well, I'm a fan of Falcom's Trails series. So when a game is slow paced, I don't really have a problem with that. I feel like a lot of the time, the slow paced parts are just
I don't have a problem with slow pacing.
Build-ups.
It's literally just the fact that it's something we already know and have seen before that is usually much more fast paced. It just felt like needless padding to a story we already kind of know. And they've already said, like, they went in some directions, and I actually really like the weird directions they went in, as, like, it being its own different beast, but at the same time, I'm like, are you gonna commit to this, or are you just teasing what could be done? And I think they said in an interview, like, the other parts of Remake are not gonna be as wild as the first one was.
You know what? Don't even listen to that, because I've just learned at this point in my life to not trust interviews at all, because what developers and publishers say is so often like so far off the mark from what they actually end up doing that it's...
Oh yeah, no, more than likely things will change through development, but like the way that
It's not
story
even a
goes
matter-
and what it teases and it implies was
It's
really
not even
cool
a-
and fascinating to me.
It's not even a matter of things changing in development. I just have come to expect them to say what they think everyone wants to hear. And what they think everyone wants to hear in this case is that, oh, the story will be the same, don't worry. It's just a little change here and there.
Well, I'm saying that's the part that bums me out. I
mean-
want them to go like buck wild with it.
Yeah, I know, but like I don't expect them to. I don't expect them not to. I just think they're saying it because they think that's what everyone wants to hear. Like when developers wax lyrical about how much more cinematic their game is going to be in the year 2023, when they're like, they don't actually say anything of substance about how it's more cinematic or what value that adds to the game. It's just a keyword.
Yeah, you just hate buzzwords.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
And,
I'm just saying, like, I don't think this quite goes the same way as a buzzword argument, though.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of a similar principle, because when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out and people first reacted to the ending, what was that initial reaction? It was mostly just backlash, like a knee-jerk response to things being different, and
Was it?
that's how.
No,
that's
I
how
don't remember
saw
there
it.
being that much backlash to stuff being different.
I remember people being like, "What is happening?" But like, I thought it was pretty neutral. Like, some people were upset, some people were
excited.
yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing certain people reacting that way, but in general, like in like forum posts and basic Twitter responses from people who aren't game reviewers for a living, I didn't see much positivity. At most,
I mean, I'm
It
going to
was-
disagree with you, Lewis, at least going off of our own comment section, because from what I remember of the comment section, pretty much everybody said,
Yeah, but
nah, it's cool.
but our videos were like months and months afterward. Like, I'm talking about
yeah, Lou's talking knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah, I'm talking about the immediate response. Like, you know, the Kingdom Hearts bullshit argument. It seemed like
it is pretty Kingdom Heartsy.
Yeah, and it seemed like in the immediate moment of the big reveal, people just sort of immediately assumed that everything would be stupid and convoluted and bullshit without really giving it a chance. But that was That's just the impression I got from what everyone was saying at that time. Obviously, people have calmed down. There's been more discussion about it. And I think the attitude evolved into cautious optimism over time, which is probably a good sign. Because, like, if their execution had been entirely poor from the start, then I don't think people would have come around to the idea that it might turn out good.
Firing my laser.
But I think the immediate response is mostly what informed the way Square and the developers themselves decided to talk about it afterward. What is the point of a laser that drains your health when everything you use it on gives you your health back?
Not everything.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Oh, great.